Do you know it is wrong to say that Nigeria was solely amalgamated in 1914? Please sit back and plug in your ears as we learn from the past. The time is 4 p.m. I am here again, your host, Ayodeji Alegbala, and this is TNS, the Nigerian Story Podcast. This is the show where we explain events, policies, and circumstances that have shaped our life in Nigeria, and also to show how Nigerians themselves have influenced events and determined the quality of their lives. From politics, commerce, history, and economy to leadership, we are going to learn from the past to explain the present and suggest a way forward for the future. And this is our story.
Corona, na the virus, really worry human being. You no get Lego, but it dey waka from person to person. But we fit beat time, we fit stop time if we maintain good hygiene and practice social distancing. We go, we know.
I hope we all enjoyed our week. In our last episode, we discussed the Battle of Bombing and how Itairuwan and many of his followers were killed. Today, we'll continue our story with a focus on Lugard and the law of romance in 1914. In other words, the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914. The country today known as Nigeria went through a series of amalgamations in the east, west, and north before the final one in 1914. So, it will be erroneous to say that Nigeria came into being in 1914, because one has to look at how the various parts, the north, the west, and the east, came into being. Unless we are clear about Nigeria's history chronologically, we cannot understand how Nigeria came into being and how the current states were created, as argued by Yakubu, Aruna, and others in 2014. The journey to the 1914 amalgamation began when Lugard was able to get Mr. High Court, the then Secretary of State for the colony, to argue with him concerning the merging of different regions in order to help him govern the country effectively. A year later, in 1913, Mr. Harcourt asked Lugard to conduct a fieldwork on the country to determine if different regions should be united. And after a study, Lugard submitted a detailed proposal for the amalgamation on the 9th of May 1913. According to Professor Dara, 2020, southern Nigeria already had a robust economy, whereas it was not so in the north. When the matter got to the British Parliament, the parliamentarians kicked against using British money to run Nigeria. It was at that point that Harcourt wrote another memo. He argued that to save the situation and to retain the two regions as their colony, the north and the south should be merged as one country. In the merger, we should make the north husband and make the south wife. I quote him. By the law of husband-wife relation in England that time, a husband owned what his wife had. That was how the law of romance was introduced into the amalgamation. By that law, southern Nigeria was to provide the resources to run both the south and the north. And that system is still in force till today. Lugard's proposal was eventually accepted in September when Lugard returned to Nigeria, and in January 1st, 1914, a new government of Nigeria was set up. So what were the structures called? Northern Nigeria was to represent England, southern Nigeria like Wales, eastern Nigeria was to be like Scotland. Now, to cut the long story short, the point I'm driving at is this: one cannot deny the fact that the marriage of Nigeria has been bedeviled with several challenges because of its shaky foundation. However, the marriage might be wrong or born out of selfish motives and gain, but behind every cloud there is a silver lining. It is up to us to create a new path to nationhood, or we remain where we are. Sometimes marriage is not all about compatibility, but how we can resolve incompatibility. And presently, We have had opportunities to rethink the country severally, but those recommendations were sacrificed on the altar of politics. In addition, contrary to what many people believe, ethnicity is not the root cause of our problems in Nigeria. Neither is it religion. China has 5 major religions, while Nigeria has just 2. America is comprised of almost every race in the world, yet they are united and patriotic. More so, Nigeria is not just the only British experiment we have in the world. So why are we different? Well, I think the sole problem is leadership and followership, and the amalgamation is just a facade used as an excuse for our underdevelopment. So to me, amalgamation of the South and the North should be more of a blessing than a curse. This argument continues. This is the Nigerian story. My story. My story.
Your story. Your story. Our story. Thank you for listening. Please share your comments and reviews. You can join the discussion on our social media handle on WhatsApp at Revive Nigerian Mission on 0813-387-1480. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Revive Nigerian Mission. Join us next week as we will be telling another interesting story. Shout out to all members of Revive Nigerian Mission. We love you. We love you. We love you.